Hello, I will be showing you how to set up the locker and trunk system you may purchase at zdsstore.org or find it through our hub, which you can find a link to our hub through our Discord, which is discord.gg/cds. Now, once you insert the trunk system, make sure you place all of the items where they go. For example, replicated storage, the ZDS framework goes in there, and then the locker and trunk system goes inside of the systems. You can find our framework at discord.gg/cds or zdsstore.org under our free sections. Our framework is completely free. The only things you have to pay for is the systems via the notification system and the locker and trunk system. That is the only two systems that is currently released right now for the framework. There will be more systems coming soon in the future. Now, getting started, we're going to open the UI settings here. So you have your global settings here, which is movable is the first one, which makes the UIs movable. And then the close distance, which is in studs, I believe. I will double check this. If you're 15 studs away from the actual part via proximity prompt, your UI will close automatically. This is so you can't be driving and then putting on gear at the same time while you're within 100 steps away from the UI, for example. Freeform tool icon is for foreign objects that are not inside of the locker system. For example, if we go over to our trunk, which is over here, this is a foreign object because it is in starter pack and not a part of the actual system. So this is that logo that'll appear. Now you can change that logo through the UI settings here, which is right here. You just put a different ID to whatever you want. Button click sound is for the clicking sound whenever you click a button on the UI. This is the volume that controls the volume, obviously. Save loadout on reset. If I were to put a vest on, for example, let me find this again. If I were to put a vest on and a helmet and then reset, since I'm on the same team, the items will save like that. Now, items do not save for your trunk. Once you reset, it just completely resets your trunk. If you were to, example, put a vest in your trunk and then go back to the UI to get another vest, it will not allow you. It'll tell you it is inside of your trunk. That is the save loadout. Notifications, this is all your notifications, and then it is separated right here. Down below this is your trunk system notifications. Now your team stuff. Mind you, this is all the UI settings. This has nothing to really do with the locker functionality per se. But for your team settings, you're able to edit the prompt, which is the prompt that'll appear inside of this here, which is the part for the prompt. You're able to edit the action checks, object text, both the key codes for console and keyboard. If you do not know, this system is also console compatible fully. The max activation distance, and then the whole duration. And then allow tabs, tools, gear, uniforms. Now, for the allow tabs, if this was a civilian team, for example, you don't need uniforms for them unless you guys have civilian outfits, so you can remove that. But you may have civilian vests and tools, so you can keep these two tabs here, for example. Now, it will not show the tab if you get rid of one of them. Remember to space it out by a comma, and then a space, and then uniforms, for example, or whatever else it may be. It's pretty self-explanatory here. The header is the top part of the UI. You can edit the logo here, the police locker text, the police uniform and gear text, the close button colors. A lot of this is really just customization to the UI, and it's based per team. This is the tabs, colors, and stuff, the item list, the unequip, equip, the text and colors for those, and then the flag. You have your footer. You can also edit the colors and text. Same thing with the body. the counts, and then here's the modifications for the trunk. That is also per team. Now let's move over to the locker item settings. You have auto remove accessories on body part, which I will show you what that is. I believe it is enabled for the helmets. Let's say I have my hair on and I already put the helmet on. It'll auto remove the accessories that is on your head. You can put that to false and then it won't do that, and they have to manually remove their accessories. You have package removers, pretty self-explanatory. It'll remove the package on player join regardless of their team or who they are. It'll remove their package. Locker item settings categories. For the tools, you can get any amount of tools, but here are the tools here. Now I put 2 tools here so far. So first and foremost, the flashlight. So flashlight ID, the ID is under your here, models, tools, and then it's the name of the actual tool. Now the name is what shows up on the UI as a name, and then the description here, and then the icon for the tool, and then the teams that can access it. So right now I only have police. Like if I were to add the EMS team would see this on their locker system also. Now, with that being said, you can also access lock it, which if you enable it to true, you can lock it to whatever down here is true. But if it's set to require both, you can use both of these. But if you only have enabled set to true and require both set to false and only one of these set to true, it'll go based on that. If you want both of these set to true, you have to enable this require both option here, and it'll require them to be in the group and also have the game pass. If you wanted to add a tool to this, for example, all you do is just do this here, and then you just paste it down below. Now it always has 2 at the bottom here and then 1 at the top here. So the next line would be in or down, and then you can paste it like that, and then you can change the settings, of course. Now for the max equipped by body part, this is set to true. So what this is if you have a helmet on and it is not stackable, and this is set to true, you can only have one head, like gear, for example. So if I were to go and put another helmet on, it'll either tell me that once again, this depends on if it's stackable. If it's not stackable, it'll usually remove the helmet. If not, it'll give you a warning or error letting you know that you can only have one head object, so you would have to unequip the other. But I believe whenever I did this, I ended up making it automatic, so this might be removed. This system is still a work in progress. I'm still kind of in the middle of working on it, so there's that. But the items here, you have CPD vests, which all these tools and the gear I have already in the system won't come with it. This is just for testing purposes. But the CPD vest, which you saw in the locker system, was the first vest test, is what it was named. But the ID is CPD vest because it is under the gear as CPD vest, which is right here under torso. Now for this, it's pretty much the same thing for the tools. You can edit the description, icon, the teams that can access it, and what body part it goes on, which is the torso, obviously. Now, the remove accessories things, going back to earlier, which is up here, what I showed you. So if this was false, you can put this to true, and it'll remove the accessories for this item here if you were to put it on. I'll get into the stackable stuff here in a second. The access lock works the same way. If you wanted to add another thing, this also works the same way. You just copy this, go down one and paste, and you just change the settings here. If you wanted to remove accessories, true or false, you just remove the 2 dashes there, which is uncommenting it, and then it'll work. For the stackable, so this is set to true, and my second vest is also set to true, and they're both under the same stack group. So what this means is for stackable, when it is set to true, it is able to be put on without being taken off if you were to get another torso item. Let's say the CPD vest 2 if you wanted to get both. So these two are stackable, but it will remove. So let me show you how this works with this first part first. These two are stackable, so if we go over here into our locker system, and I put this on, and also put this on. I had moved the taser up so you can see that they're both on. But these two are stackable. You can put them on at the same time. Now, if I were to give them the same stack group name, so this is vest, and this is also vest, and then I were to go back and put them both on, it will not let me. It will automatically switch to the other. But with that being said, you can't put those two on, but the vest themselves is still stackable with other items. So it'll switch between these two. Now, if I were to add a third vest and not have the same stack group, you can stack with that item. For the uniforms, let me control Z so I don't mess with anything. For the uniforms, the max uniform you can have right now is 1. You can change this, obviously. If you wanted infinite uniforms, you can just copy this up here, which I doubt anyone want infinite uniforms. For uniforms, though, same thing with the ID and everything. Same thing for the name, description, icon, and teams that can access it in access lock. If you wanted to add another uniform, you just copy this, go down 1, and you paste, and boom. As far as adding things go inside of the gear, tools, and uniforms, tools are self-explanatory. You can literally just paste a tool inside of here and name it whatever. For uniforms, it goes based on this name here, and then it's just the IDs for the shirt and pants. Coming in the future, we will allow this system to be compatible with 3D uniforms if any games uses 3D uniforms. If we see an influx in that, we'll try and get that pushed out. But as far as like the right leg, right arm, left leg, left arm, head goes, I will show you how to set that up here. Alright, so to set that up, you can just grab any vest really. I am going to use this vest for example, just a random vest off of the store. Alright, this already has a middle part, but I'm going to delete it just to show you guys how to do this. So you have your vest here. It can be whatever amount of mesh parts. It's just more work if you have more mesh parts. I'm just going to scale this down. You can scale this down to whatever edge, choose 0.1. And then I'm going to reset the pivot on these both. So I'm going to select all the mesh parts that's in here and also the model. And then I am going to go over to pivot, press pivot, reset, boom, reset it. Now, copy the position and then paste the position here. This is your middle. You can make that transparent. Do not anchor anything. Make sure this is also not anchored. And then you paste this inside of here, then name it middle. And then what you want to do is add a world constraint. Your part 0 will always be your middle. And then you want to put part 1 to one of the parts inside of here, and you're going to keep going until you've done all the parts. So let's say I added another mesh part. I'm going to duplicate this and then do this second mesh part here, and so on and so on. Alright, now that that is done, I can move this down over to torso, and then I'm going to use one of these that I already have set up, so I'm just going to rename it to what the model is. So ACS Fest, boom, and then I'm going to play, and let me stop and then replay because we're all the way over here. Once I open the locker, go to gear, it should give me a. Now, this vest isn't very sized appropriately, so just make sure you size it to the torso, and then you can add it to the gear area. By doing that, you just basically size it on the character, and then when it's ready, you just do the process I just did. Now, it's the same process for helmets. I'll also do the helmet for you so you can see. Let's just take this helmet here also. Delete this. Now you can reuse these metal parts, but I'm not going to. Just gonna unanchor this and then reset the pivot. And then we're going to put a part in. We're gonna do this. Position. Put it here. Transfer it as one. Make sure the part is named middle always. And the weld constraint. ACS helmet, and then I'm going to go over to locker system, convert that, and then just rename this to ACS helmet. So play, it should put the helmet on. So it put it on backwards, so now what we need to do is go inside of here. I'm going to drag the helmet out of here. Check, just press Control C. And I'm going to rotate this. And place it back inside of here. And then there you go, it is fixed. Now, this helmet's showing like this because it's not sized properly, which is what I meant earlier. Because if you saw earlier in the video, I put on the other helmet that was sized properly, and it wasn't going below like the neck here, and it wasn't covering the eyes. So it's just a sizing issue. If your helmet does do that, you just have to resize it to the head, which you just can get a dummy and just put it on the dummy and resize it that way, and then there you have the model. But this works for any helmets, any vests, etc. It is the same process, same thing for the left arm, left leg, right arm, right leg, etc. Now the only difference is between gear, tools, and uniforms is that gear you have to do that middle thing. With tools you can just drag and drop, and with shirt and pants you can pretty much just copy and paste another uniform in and just change shirt IDs and also name. That is how you set up all of the models. I am going to show you a few other things. For group locked and Game Pass stuff, if you select something inside of the locker that's Game Pass or group locked, it will show as a notification. It won't show on the UI, but it will show as a notification, and it will not allow you to put it on. I believe we've covered everything so far in this system. If you have any questions, you can always make a ticket inside of the Discord server, discord.gg/cds, and you can request me or either our lead developer. If our lead developer is able to assist you, he will, but if he is not, it will get directed to me and you can get it support. I do want to additionally add on though, after editing the video, I realized I didn't go over this here. If you wanted to add another team, you do it the same way I showed inside of the settings, but you also need to duplicate like the part here and then name it to whatever team it is, and then it'll automatically do its thing. You just got to make sure this part is named to the team and it's set to where you want them to open the prompt. Let me also show the trunk system of the vehicle real quick. By the way, it does not have to be this part here. It can be any part, just the part has to be inside of this locker system here, not as a model, as a part, and it has to be named the team name. So for the trunk prompt, I believe I said this earlier, but it will show this area here. Well, not error, but warning. And it's just letting you know that anyone can use this trunk. It's not owner locked because it's not inside of a vehicle. So if I place this inside of a vehicle, let's just grab, we'll grab this Durango, for example. If I place this inside of here, let's just copy the position of this. Mind you, or here, I'll just delete this so it doesn't throw the warning. So, as you see, the prompts back here. If I move the vehicle, it's still there. Yeah. So, if I open it, I have access to it. Now, if another player was to open this, they don't have access to it, and I will show you how that looks now. So it's not going to allow me to do it because I have not hopped in the drive seat. So whoever first hops in this drive seat owns this entire trunk system here. So I cannot access it because it is not my trunk. Now, if I were to hop in it, because I'm the first person to hop in it, I can access it. And nobody else can. So let me show you what that looks like on two clients. Okay, this is just gonna look like this. So player 1 is over here, I'm player 2 here. Player 2 can't access trunk. Player 1 can't access the trunk either. Now, if I get in this vehicle, this trunk is now mine, and I can access it. But this player can still not access it. So that's how it looks on two different screens. Alright, I believe that is it. Once again, if you guys want to purchase this system, you can visit discord.gg/cds. For more information on how to get to our hub and how to purchase it through our hub. You have to be 16 plus in order to join our hub. If you're not 16 plus, review our information channel inside of the Discord on how to do other purchase options for Roblox specifically. Now, your other purchase option outside of Roblox would be obviously our store, which is cdsstore.org.